All right guys, I think it is time for me to show you my 2022 Santa Cruz Bronson bike check. I've had this bike for about a year now and it's not even close to its stock form. I've pretty much upgraded this thing from head to toe in different upgrades, and that's what I'm gonna show you guys today. Come on over, let's get a little closer. Okay, so we're gonna start at the cockpit of the bike. We'll start with the handlebars. So these are Oneup carbon bars, and what makes them special between all the other carbon sets of bars is their ovular design. Their ovular design gives you some give, which helps with small bump sensitivity on the trail. Moving on to the grips. I'm running ODI Longneck grips. I just put these on, so I don't have that many rides on them, but so far they've been more comfortable than the Ergons that I had previously. And then next, the stem. This stem came stock on the bike, otherwise I'd probably have an i9 or a Deity stem, but this one gets the job done and I love the way that it feels. And then since we're up here, we will talk about the brakes. I'm running a Magura MT7 Pro disc brakes, and they've been amazing. If you guys want to hear my full review, make sure to click the link in the description below, and it'll also be at the end screen of this video. And then the last thing in the cockpit is going to be the dropper lever. I'm running a Wolftooth dropper lever. I love the feel of the full aluminum dropper lever, and I just don't have that much to say about it, but it works great. All right, moving on down to the fork. This fork came on the bike, but I've added a couple of upgrades since then. The biggest one being a Grip 2 damper. Just gonna say this, it is definitely worth the upgrade. I'm going to be making a review video not too long from now, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that video if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on that. All right, and the next upgrade being the Vorsprung Luftkappe. I'll put an image right here. What this essentially does is it changes the suspension curve from the start of its stroke to the end of its stroke. So I'm not gonna get into the nitty-gritty on how this thing exactly works, but I'll do a quick summary. It takes the start of its stroke and makes it softer, and then, so the Luftkappe basically changes that curve and makes it more gradual, which makes the bottom outs a lot less harsh. Again, I'll probably make a video in the future explaining how this thing works and how I'm enjoying it, but currently I'm enjoying it a lot and I would 100% recommend it. Okay, now we are going to talk about the wheels. I actually built these wheels by hand, which was a fun experience, but yeah, let's talk about what I used on these wheels. So as you guys can see here, I am running Chris King hubs. These things sound so good and they feel like some super nice quality hubs. And I have them laced to some EX511 DT Swiss wheels. These things are like stupid proof wheels, which suits me very well. And while we're here, I will talk about what rotors I'm running. I'm just running Magura MDR-P rotors. This is a 203, and I have a 180 in the rear, which you will see in just a bit. All right, moving on to the center of the bike. We'll get these couple of little things out of the way, and then we will move on to the things that you probably are eyeing. All right, so I'm running a Fidlock water bottle. I have a CO2 inside, and it also includes a CO2 inflator, and it's also the pump as you guys would expect. So this and the Oneup EDC on the top is a perfect combo to get you out of most situations. All right, moving on to what you guys have probably been eyeing, the shock. Sadly, this one is probably the next thing to get replaced on this bike. I'm not gonna get into that in this video because that's gonna take way too long to explain, but make sure you guys keep an eye out for a video on that. All right, moving on to the drivetrain. This is actually one of the few things that is still stock on this bike. I have a GX group set and it's been a pretty good bang for buck group set. But in the year of owning it, I've had to replace a couple of things. The first one being, which you guys, most of you would expect, is a chain. This is actually an XO1 chain because these actually last quite a bit longer than GX chains. So if you guys have a GX group set, I would recommend getting a XO1 chain if you guys are needing a new chain. And the next thing that I actually replaced was the mounting bolt. This is a X01/XX1 mounting bolt. This uses a different design which gets rid of play that you would see in a normal GX derailleur. If you guys are not aware of that play, go check out my video. It'll be linked in the description of how to install it and also what it solves. And then one other thing that I want to show before we move on to the next parts is the pedals. These things are Oneup alloy pedals and I've just been in love with them. Before I had race face Chester pedals, and these things are night and day difference when it comes to grip. The grip is just insane on these things. All right, moving on to the next thing. So we've almost covered everything on the bike, but we're gonna move up to the seat post. So I'm currently running a Oneup seat post. This is the 180 version, and I knocked it down to 170 because 180 is just a little too tall for me. And 170, where I dropped it down to, is literally perfect. As you can see, it's all the way down and my legs are in the perfect ideal climbing position. This saddle is a specialized bridge comp. I got this on Pink Bike as a takeoff and I've been loving the feel of it. It is almost 100% eliminated all my bum pain. I'm sure the other one hurt a bit more because of adjustment, but this one is definitely feeling good, so I'm gonna leave it on. So before I wrap up this bike check video, I did realize I left out a couple of parts. One being what tires I'm running. I'm currently running DHR2 in the rear and an Asica in the front. Both of them are Maxxis. The casing on the rear is EXO and then the casing on the front is EXO Plus. The only reason I'm running mismatched casing is because I had an EXO and then I got a good deal on an EXO Plus. That's the only reason that I have mismatched casings. And then the compounds, I have Max Terra in the front, Max Terra in the rear and Max Grip on the front. Obviously you want more grip on the front than the rear. And then another thing that I also left out was what valve stems I was using. I'm currently using PDs. I did lose the top caps because of them being aluminum. I don't know what it is with me and losing aluminum top caps, but I lost both of them. So I just threw some plastic ones on there and they've been staying on just fine. Well, that is a wrap for my 2022 Santa Cruz Bronson bike check. If you guys have any questions or if I left out anything, please leave a comment and I will get back to that comment as soon as I can. And if you guys did like this video, please smash that like button. And if you do like what you see, please consider subscribing. And remember guys, full send or no.